Have you ever been hurt by someone you trusted and wonder why spirit allowed it? This reading reveals what betrayal is teaching your soul, how healing can begin, and what love awaits once you release the pain. Hello, collective. Today's reading dives into one of the deepest wounds we can experience: betrayal. Whether it came from a loved one, a friend, or life itself, betrayal shakes our trust, breaks our peace, and challenges our faith. But here's the miracle: Spirit uses even betrayal to awaken our power, deepen our intuition, and help us return home to ourselves. This is a healing conversation with your higher self about forgiveness, boundaries, and rediscovering peace. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you guys are here. We're going to be talking about betrayal. Okay, we've all been through it, some form of it. And it usually will propel anyone into a healing journey if you don't sink any lower from it, or get into revenge or what have you. But yeah, we're talking about healing from betrayal. And they usually, like I said, it comes from a loved one. It comes from someone close to you. Love is there, so betrayal can happen. So before we get started, as you already know, I just want to go ahead and clear the space, say a prayer, and so we can get started. Okay. So mind your ears. Here's the bell. I give thanks to the Most High Divine Spirit for being here and for surrounding us with healing energy and for guiding today's messages. And by the grace of the Most High and the Holy Spirit, this space is filled with love, peace, light, and all energies that do not serve our highest good are transmuted into love, healing, and renewing energy. Now let's step into this reading. All right. So we are here. I'm going to go ahead and get a cut on the deck. And so we can get started here. And I hope that everyone is having a wonderful day. And just as you already know, these messages are general. All right. And take what lights you up, toss the rest over your shoulder so the universe can recycle that. And if these readings are timeless. So when you're watching this is when you need to see it. It's the perfect time. All right. So just remember, hit that like button so we can have more amazing souls to join us. Okay. All right. So I've already got a cut on the deck. We're going to be doing what's called healing the wound of betrayal. It sounds like something. We've always been there, but once you get past healing and you get to a place of peace and learning how to, regulate your nervous system around certain things, it, this is a great part of the journey, getting over betrayal. Because once you learn how to manage yourself through a betrayal, it doesn't matter when it happens, where it happened, and who it happens with. You'll always be a victor in this situation. Okay. All right. So we're going to start out with the first question, like, what is the spiritual lesson behind betrayal? So let's just get started with that. We'll ask Spirit. And Spirit, what is the spiritual lesson behind betrayal? So let's see what we can get out the deck. And they're all over. Okay. High Priestess. What is the spiritual lesson behind? And the High Priestess came out. Okay. Now, usually when the High Priestess is here, we're talking about hidden intuition. Uh, we're talking about higher knowing or inner self. Okay. And the High Priestess, that's what the High Priestess represents. All right. It represents mystery, the subconscious mind. All right. And so the question is, what is the spiritual lesson? So to get into the access of the subconscious mind, to create a relationship where that's where life takes place. And that is the truth, because the subconscious mind is where the real world is. 3D is reality, but everything starts in spirit first. Okay. So what this tells me is that we've learned that betrayal was maybe a divine redirection, and spirit used it to realign us with truth and boundaries and self-respect. Okay? Because that's going to always be, you got to have self-love. There's no love outward if there's no love inward. Okay? Right now, what an experience, this experience taught you, not about others, but about your strength and values. What did it, being in this energy, what did it teach you? I know it taught me the best parts of myself, and the best parts of myself that I was giving away. It also taught me with boundaries, the best parts of myself not to give away. Okay. So there's a lot of value to taking this journey. Okay. And betrayal is not going to be a place where you're going to be crushed. You're going to actually use that pain and turn it into power. Okay. So, what emotional wounds need healing most? We're going to go ahead with the next question. What emotional wounds need healing the most? And it's the Chariot in reverse. Okay. Chariot in reverse. And that's a major arcana card as well. All right. And if we're talking about the Chariot in reverse, we're talking about self-sabotage, self-doubt, being stuck in your own doubting energy, limited thoughts, you know, that sort of thing. But in relation to this reading here, this is the emotional wound that needs healing the most. Self-doubting yourself, self-sabotaging yourself, not believing in yourself. If the pain feels buried, spirit invites patience with yourself. You got to be patient with you first. Healing isn't rushed. It unfolds. So you got to create safety in your heart. You got to believe in yourself. You out of everybody, you don't like it when someone else sabotages you or doubts you, especially when you know better than they do who you are. Okay? So, don't do it to yourself. Collective, don't do it to yourself. Divine wants you to honor yourself. Divine wants you to know not to self-sabotage yourself. You deserve everything your heart desires. So remember that. You heal. That's going to be the result of everything anyway. Okay? So being in this energy, how has this betrayal changed how you view yourself and others? So how has it changed how we view ourselves and others? This kind of self-sabotaging energy. Spirit, let's put the star in reverse energy. That's how that betrayal has changed how we see ourselves. We see ourselves in reverse star energy. And usually that means that we got a fear of optimism. We plan it safe, small or smart, you know. We're not being ourselves. We're not being ourselves. And we're betraying ourselves being in that kind of energy, because we should be authentic, always, always authentic. So um if mistrust has hardened your heart, spirit asks that you release the armor that's on your heart. Not everyone comes to hurt you. Okay. So you're going to have to, with discernment, which is going to be the major gift that we get out of healing from betrayal, we're going to know who's come to be with us and who's come to hurt. So we'll be able to reserve ourselves in our energy. Okay. Now, how is spirit going to help us release that resentment or anger? So, spirit, please tell us how you're going to help us release that resentment or anger. So let's just ask. And we got a tower in reverse. And these major arcanas, I've shuffled and shuffled and cut. Well, I cut, but I shuffled. So now we have another major arcana out here, and we're talking about the tower. Usually the tower means a upheaval, but if it's in reverse, then you're stagnant. You're not you're pending on a breakthrough. Okay. Um, you might be clinging to some illusions. And so, in relation to this here, what spirit is telling you is that don't cling to those illusions. Okay. Don't pin your own breakthrough. Okay. Don't do that. That's not what you want. If forgiveness feels impossible, spirit is saying start by forgiving yourself for holding on. That's where healing begins. You forgive yourself first. Okay. You ain't gotta pin on that's not pending. Don't put that in a pending file when it comes to forgiving yourself. If that's all it takes to move you to the next step, you forgive yourself. You forget all the time. God does. The moment you're ready to align, the Most High does, Source does, Divine does. You're forgiven. So you got to forgive yourself. You got to hold yourself in the same way. I would say a good thing to do would be like light a candle and say out loud, I release them. I release, I free, I forgive to free myself. Visualize fire transmuting pain into peace. Use your imagination to kind of clean up your spiritual energy. You know, you can do that. And it's powerful. It is. Okay. So now we need to know what truth do we need to see about this situation that we got laying out here. Okay. So, Spirit, we're going to ask, what truth do we need to see about this situation? What truth do we need to see? It's a Three of Swords in reverse. Three of Swords in reverse. Okay. Now, when I think of a Three of Swords in reverse in relation to this, I'm thinking about rethinking an approach. It could be that you don't want nobody to help you, not accepting support. Um, but in relation to the spread, it's what truth did you need to see about the situation? So you're not accepting support, not being open. You know what I mean? You're not you're not healing, you know. This Three of Swords in reverse is telling me that you're just processing right now. Okay? And so what spirit wants you to know is that if confusion lingers, spirit says the truth may still be unfolding. Trust that clarity will arrive when your heart is ready. Okay? Especially when it comes to betrayal. All right? Meditate on what this person or experience revealed, not just the hurt. Perhaps it showed you compassion. It showed your compassion. It shows strength. Or what needs to be stronger boundaries. It's always about that boundaries because it's just somebody else's energy crossing over into yours and sending your nervous system into the stratosphere and not in a good way. Okay. And so basically, we're just trying to get back to that point to identify with our senses what occurred and rectify ourselves, heal whatever it was, and keep it moving. Okay. So the next question will be, how can you rebuild trust with yourself and others? Collective. That is a good question, but we're going to ask spirit. Spirit, how can we rebuild trust with ourselves and others? And spirit said, a Knight of Pentacles in reverse. That's how we do it. A Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Now, Pentacles, and we're talking about that night. All right. So in reverse, I would think that Spirit is saying, think, don't try to be too perfect trying to get over this or get through this type of healing part on your journey. Don't um don't get stuck, just because you may think that the path should be going a certain way, you know, especially when you're trying to build trust with others, rebuild it with yourself and others. Don't get stuck. You know, if trusting feels scary, Spirit encourages you to start small, like just one step, one choice, um, just one act of faith at a time. You don't have to jump right in there, you know. Create small promises to yourself and just keep them to yourself. Consistency restores like internal trust before external trust can form. So if you start keeping promises to yourself and then you start showing yourself how important that is to you, you're going to allow nobody else to do that. You're not going to allow someone to break promises, and you're not going to be okay with people breaking promises. Okay? Now, we always want to know what future energy emerges once we've healed from this pain, because we're on this journey. So we want to know where we're going from here. So we're going to ask Spirit, what future energy emerges once we heal from this type of betrayal pain? And Spirit says, the devil. And you already know. That means ending. Okay? And the devil is amazing. I know when it pops out, people are just like, oh my God, that's the devil. But the devil never means what you think it means. In this, it could be, um, attachment, excess, or whatever, you know. But it also can mean awareness. And I think what this means is that if your vision feels distant, then Spirit is saying that you, anything you're going through, is going to help you. I know a lot of times we feel like when bad things happen to us, that they're setbacks. But no, in this case, Spirit is saying, even in betrayal, with the devil card coming out, you need to know that even if it feels distant, Spirit is whispering to you, every tear is water in the garden of your next chapter. You can't be let down. Okay. Now I'm going to pull from the Message of Cosmic Oracle cards. I thought this was the deck that I was directed to pull for this Spirit to get some additional messages from Spirit. And so, Spirit, on betrayal, Spirit is saying, when you find something that excites you, go all in and enjoy the ride. All right. And I would think in this case, because we were saying don't get stuck, you know what I'm saying? Don't feel like, you have to give in to excess of anything. But when you find something that excites you, go all in and enjoy the ride. All right. Anything else, Spirit? Okay, I had two come out. I'm going to put them back here. I had one come on top. Two again. And since I want to, if I get two the last time, we're just going to keep them. Okay. All right. So take responsibility for your choices. This life is yours. This is your life to live. Own it. That's what Spirit is saying. This is your life to live. So you own it. Okay? It's yours. Let's see what else Spirit got for us. Guilt is a normal feeling. Just breathe in, let it go. Thank you, Spirit. All right. Let's see if we can get one more. Yeah, we're going to heal all the way up, every step of the way. And give your inner critique of vacation day. Be kind to yourself. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Divine. All right. So, my collective, betrayal may have broken your heart, but it never broke your spirit. Each scar is a symbol of survival and sacred transformation. All right. Spirit wants you to know what left your life was never meant to limit your light. You are free, you are healing, and you are loved beyond measure. Okay, so you need to remember that. If this message brought you comfort, please like, share, subscribe, and stay part of our healing family circle here at Oracle Rose Healing Tarot. And remember, the wound that once hurt you most may one day become the wisdom that heals others. I'm living testimony. And until next time, keep living in your light.